10. We saw 6 national records set last year in the A heats. We've already seen 2 set tonight, and we haven't even gotten started with the A heats. Listen to this field we've assembled. First, let's give credit where it's due to 4 pacers. Our first pacer, fresh off a medal in Glasgow, Nikki Hiltz will be joining us tonight. Taylor Warner also setting the pace, and then we'll have a second pace being set by Abby Goldstein and Taryn Rawlings, both who raced in the 1500 earlier today. Last year, we saw a winner from the United Kingdom in Eilish McColgan. We'll see another great British superstar coming across the pond, Jessica Warner-Judd. Just missed out on qualifying for Worlds over some controversy over chip gun time. Well, I'm Team Jessica Warner-Judd. She should have qualified, but there should be no question tonight she'll be racing alongside the American record holder, done on this track last year, just behind Eilish McColgan, Alicia Monson, back from On Athletics, seeing how low under 30 she can go. Next, we'll have an Olympian who recently moved to LA, Emily Infield. She's run 31.08. And then we'll have Ellie Hennis, ran 30.48 on this track, NCAA champion. Recently had a collapsed lung and now is back in the 10K. Then, a late addition to this field, one of the best distance runners in American history, 5-time NCAA champ, Carissa Schweitzer. Now, a name you might not be that familiar with if you're into American track and field, but if you watch internationally, Tsigie Gebreselama from Ethiopia, second in Bathurst with that silver medal, ran 65.46 in Valencia. She's representing On tonight. Representing Edion will be Mikuni Yada from Japan, has run 31.34. Farther down, we'll have from BAA, Annie Rodenfels. From Argentina, Florencia Borelli. From China, Wu Gahe. The upstart, the rising star in British track and field, Megan Keith, now representing New Balance. Representing On will be Amy Eloise Neal. We'll see one of our best marathoners, one of the most prolific women in American track and field in Sarah Hall, representing ASICS. Representing McCurdy Train will be Danny Polarecki. We'll have another great marathoner, Kira D'Amato, representing Nike as well. My sleeper pick for the race comes next, representing Under Armour Dark Sky Distance. I think she's one of the strongest women in American track and field, Weini Kelati. Next, we'll have Erica Kemp, recently signed to Brooks. Emily Lapari, who trains down in Hawaii, has got to be feeling amazing in this weather, representing Adidas. The Mexican national record holder set on this track last year, going after it again, Laura Galvan of Hoka. Everlyn Kemboy running for Brothers Athletics Management. Lauren Ryan, the Australian stud, running for Under Armour Baltimore distance. Rachel Smith is back on the track. She raced U.S. Indoors, just won the Gate River 15K. Rachel Smith represents Hoka. A new signee to Hoka Naz Elite, an excellent runner from Alabama, Mercy Chilangat. Miriam Datke of Adidas, Parul Chihara of India will go after the Indian national record that was got close to in the B heat. That record is 31.50 she'll be chasing. Katie Camarena represents Tin Man Elite, the sole woman of Tin Man Elite. Katarina Coogan of that awesome New Balance crew. They just got a medal from El Purrier at Worlds. Holly Campbell of Australia and McKenna Myler of ASICS. 32 women, 25 laps, 10,000 meters. Let's go.
And we've got a medalist out front. So Nikki Hiltz setting this pace. We're right on 72 seconds, and that's what the wave lights are set for earlier. So Nikki Hiltz leading. They looking very strong. So incredible to watch Nikki win that medal in Glasgow.
So 2 sets of wave lights. You can see it happening. You're already seeing the groups split up. You got Nikki and Warner leading that lead group. You've got Monson and Gebreselama on them. We'll talk about those lights in a minute. For now, they're going 72s. Let's leave it there because it's a little bit more complicated than that. That white light farther back, that is the Olympic standard. 30:40. That is the automatic qualifying time. Now, you still have to get selected by your federation, and however that happens for various countries may be different. American, it's pretty simple, top 3 plus the time. So most of these athletes trying to get 30-40, and then up front, let's talk through what those pace lights are doing. So they are going to start on 72s. They're going to slowly work their way down to 71s, and at the very end, they're going to get down to 70s. That adds up, if you can do your math well, to 29:37. If a woman runs that time tonight, it will be the 7th fastest time in history. What do you think?
It is totally doable. And the women have started to approach that. They're starting to normalize 30 minutes. And now Nikki Hiltz at 3:36, right on pace.
Well, you know you've got a fast pace when you need a medalist to make it happen. Nikki Hiltz and Warner setting the pace. If anybody can break 30, Alicia Monson, one of the toughest women in international distance running, I would love to see that American record go under 30, and we might just see it tonight. Tsigie Gebreselama should give her a great race. We saw how well Alicia can race last year, getting beat at the line by Eilish McColgan, but that made for such a great race and such a great times. We saw national records for both the United States and the United Kingdom in that race. We'll see what Gebreselama could do.
So I've seen a number of 10,000s. We all have. But to see this many women on sub 31 pace, we just saw that shot where there are 25 women running sub 31 pace, running the Olympic standard pace, which is 30-40. That's the lights. So call it that entire field, let alone up front where we're on 30 flat pace. I mean, there was a time where 31 minutes was this monster barrier. So look at that group right there. Just a string of women, a full field of women running incredibly fast at 4:55. That whole pack is at 4:55, and every single competitor in this race at 5 minutes or faster through 1,600 meters. Incredible.
And that first woman in the chase pack, first racer, I should say, Weini Kelati, what a great and interesting story. I first heard her name when I was in college. One of my teammates, Ali Bahalski, was fresh off All-American in cross country, went to race a 3K at Camel City, and got beat by some high school girl. Well, Weini Kelati has turned into one of the best distance athletes in the United States. I think she's so close to making a team, might make it this summer, headed to Paris. Has a really interesting story as well. Sought asylum in the United States in 2014 when she traveled to Eugene for the Junior World Championships. Missed her flight back to Eritrea, began a new life here, and what a life it has been with some very, very fast times. Would love to see her in a United States of America kit this summer.
Right at 6 minutes. So there's that chase group. The leaders were right at 6 minutes at 2K. Chase group just off of the wave lights, off of 30-40, and they're at 6:10.
Yeah.
So lead group has a 10-second gap now.
So you see that chase group, Kelati right there, Jessica Warner-Judd, the tall figure right behind her. You got Emily Infield on this inside, Ellie Hennis in there as well. Some very talented 10,000 meter running. Ellie Hennis, loved watching her win the NCAA championship in the 10,000 meters for North Carolina State. The first Wolfpack woman to do it since her mom won it back in the day. What a great story that was. Still waiting for her to really take control of the American distance running scene. I think she's one of the young talents that can really be a superstar, and I think this is a crucial step to getting there.
So you can see our pack. Nikki Hiltz and Taylor Warner setting an incredible pace here for Alicia Monson. Gebreselama, Monson, as she comes through here, they're right on those lights. 7:12 for Hiltz. They looking very strong as we hit 19 to go. As
Whoa,
is Alicia
look
Monson.
at Kelati. What's going on here?
Kelati dropping a monster lap. You can see the gap there. That was all basically in the last 300 meters to get back on pace, just crushing.
Kelati has decided 30-40 is for, what I'm surprised about is the rest of these women have not done anything about it. That's the Olympic standard right there. Those white lights that Kelati is on, she's actually getting in front of them now. Huh.
So for the rest of the field, 30:40 is a monster time. So I see Emily Enfeld, who's run 31:04, if I'm not mistaken, on PR pace. So, but Kelati is just crushing.
I think just a little hesitation from that chase pack, trying to figure out who was going to do it, who was going to do the work. Now Enfeld seems to have taken up the charge a little bit, but no question up front. Nikki Hiltz getting the fans involved, throwing the arms up. Warner there in the second position, also pacing, setting up the battle between Monson and Gebreselama. Gebreselama just ran 65:14 to win a half on February 24th, so coming back pretty quick to run a 10K. But looking good in the second position, I should say, second racing position behind Alicia Monson.
Carissa Schweitzer in her return to this distance, first attempt at this distance since Eugene 2022, right towards the lead of the chase group. But you see our front four here as they approach 3,000 meters, and they're going to be right on 9 minutes. Hiltz right on 9 minutes. Kelati is going to be right around 9:12 or so, as she's just ahead of the light. So Kelati at 9:12, and the chase group led by Enfeld and Schweitzer is going to be at about 9:20.
Yeah, as we looked at Kelati there are only five women in history that have broken 30:40. One of them is in front of her, Alicia Monson, as Nikki Hiltz steps off. Job done well, leaves the reins to Taylor Warner, our sole pace setter left, setting up the battle. So this is a tale of two races. We have the battle up front, which is being set up for Alicia Monson and Tsigie Gebreselama to try to set, for Alicia, of course, the American record. And now we are down. Hold on, we got a situation. Okay, there we go. Gebreselama has now made a move. We lost our pace setter. So Gebreselama made a pretty aggressive move there for about 50 meters. Alicia Monson kept it smooth, is not letting Gebreselama get away. But Gebreselama, I don't know, just sensed something and decided to put in a very hard surge down that backstretch. So that's the A race up front. Farther back, we have what I would call the B race within the race, right? So that is everybody going for that Olympic standard, which is in white lights. Right now, Weini Kelati is the only woman that seems to be game for that, ahead of the white lights. The rest of the women seem to hesitate when the pace setters stepped off. Now they are starting to charge again. We'll get eyes on who's doing that. Actually, Nikki Hiltz decides to jump in and help out a little bit more. Nice of them. They already did their job, but okay, we can get a little bit more pace setting. Carissa Schweitzer in the first racing position there, followed by Enfeld, followed by Lauren Ryan, who won the B Heat. Megan Keith in that New Balance kit. I think she's dangerous, and Ellie Hennis right in there as well.
So I'm looking at Alicia Monson, who's clearly the best American and looking to run a historic time. And while the pace adjustments were rather abrupt, where Taylor Warner stepped off shortly after Hiltz, or moved out, shortly after Hiltz moved out. You can see Hiltz, Kelati, and Hiltz has got Schweitzer on her shoulder. Monson still looks pretty good, because that was kind of funky how that played out. And Kelati just decided to start crushing this race after 2,000 meters. And now we'll go back and see it. You see a gap here as Monson is just off of the lights. But approaching the lights is Carissa Schweitzer, who's looking to get back in the game here at 10,000 meters. But this is broken up earlier than I think we wanted.
I completely agree. We were hoping to see, we want less to happen in the first 5K, right? We want very little to happen. Right now, Alicia actually looks like she's got a little bit of a chink in the armor, struggling a little bit here, losing the lights. If anyone's going to be able to capitalize on that, it's Weini Kelati, who got away from the chase pack. But leading the chase pack right now is none other than Carissa Schweitzer, the fourth fastest American of all time over 10,000 meters. She ran 30:18 back in 2022. And she's got some very talented women right with her that, should she need help, it's there. So we have three groups on the road. We got Gebreselama, that's your leader up front, representing On in green. Alicia is starting to struggle a little bit. Maybe that American record's gonna be a question mark. She's gonna have to work her way up to Gebreselama. Third place is Weini Kelati. And fourth place is the group led by Carissa Schweitzer, now on your screen.
So Schweitzer is followed by Enfeld.
Farther back, you got Megan Keith in that group. I think that's Lauren Ryan in third. They're on the other side from the booth right now, but I know she's in that group. Yeah, there's Lauren Ryan, the Australian. Jessica Warner-Judd in that group. Ellie Hennis representing Adidas, seems to have lost her bib, but we know who she is. Rachel Smith running very well in there as well. There's Emily Lapari from Hawaii.
Now leading group number 3, if you would call it group 3, as Kira D'Amato. So D'Amato running very well considering coming off of the trials. So looking very strong.
Yeah, my guess is D'Amato and Sarah Hall are trying to get a spot on the line, right? They're still coming off the marathon trials. Neither of them had the day they wanted to. Two of America's best in the marathon. But currently working pretty well is Emily Lapari, so let's talk about her for a second, especially because she took the time to chat with me, which I really appreciate. Listen to this from Emily Lapari. So she does most of her training in Hawaii. Her husband is a submarine officer, and she just ran just off her 5K PB, low 15s, a couple weeks ago, and saying goodbye to him for 8 months. He is going to be underwater, incommunicado for 8 months, while she is training, trying to prepare for the Olympic trials this summer. She's also had a recent coaching change that she said has gone pretty well. Switched over to Alan Culpepper, one of U.S. distance running's great, coaching her remotely from Boulder. Okay, so now we've got red lights on the track. That is American record pace, so they have thrown that on as well. That is what Alicia set last time at this race. I think that's going to be tough for her today. I think Tsigie Gebreselama is going to run away from this. So we have green lines are the 29:36. The red lines are American record pace, and the white lines are 30:40, the Olympic standard. We have women all over this track right now, so it is going to be very challenging to keep track. But Tsigie Gebreselama is our leader. That's her on your screen in the On kit. She is going past a lap runner, Danny Polarecki. Second place is Alicia Monson. Farther back, we have Weini Kelati in third, and in fourth is Carissa Schweitzer and Lauren Ryan. So Lauren Ryan ran this race last year out of the B heat and almost from the gun put everybody in her dust and destroyed them.
So let's point out that a huge portion of this field was under 15:30. So while we kind of have this fragmentation of this race, right, we still have a monster amount of the field under 15:30.
And there's Weini Kelati currently in third position in the race. Megan Keith behind her. Megan Keith and Lauren Ryan, both very young runners who I think have a lot of talent. Expect to see them racing top races on the international stage. We've already seen Megan Keith in a Diamond League race. I don't think that will be the last time we see her. The product of Scotland, a very tough young woman working in front of Lauren Ryan right now. And you see on your screen, or you did a second ago anyway, the carnage, right? Gebreselama's got the long, lonely road up front, but there is sheer carnage behind her. So no surprise to see Gebreselama up front. She's from the 20th fastest time in the world ever, 11th Ethiopian, which just tells you how good of a distance running country Ethiopia is. Gebreselama chasing those lights, which again, those lights are on pace for the 7th fastest time in history. And what's even crazier is Monson clearly not on her day, still way in front of the rest of the United States runners, with the exception of Weini Kelati, who's 50 meters back, followed by Megan Keith, followed by Lauren Ryan.
So it makes sense that Monson is on about 30-20 pace. So she's in that 30-20, 30-30 zone.
Which, you know, we look at that and we're like, oh no, she's off American record pace. Well, 30:20 would still be the 5th fastest time in American history. If you can have an off day and run the 5th fastest time in American history, and we don't want to say anything too soon, we still got a lot to run, about 4K to go.
Well, and also, we have to remember the job that needs to be done here tonight, which is to set up for the Olympics. or the trials and then the Olympic Games.
So that's an important note because Monson has already qualified. That race last spring here, qualified her for the games. Now, of course, the hard part is being top 3 at the trials this summer. But, you know, this was just a try it out race, see where she was at. But we still have Gebreselama, our leader. Now you're looking at the 3rd pack on the road. That's Ellie Hennis, Carissa Schweitzer, and the British athlete Jessica Warner-Judd representing Hoka today. There's Kelati. She is in 3rd place in the race, starting to close on Alicia Monson. That would be really interesting. So 30-40, if Kelati can hang on to that, that would put her in the 7th fastest performance. And I think the 4th or 5th, I have to run some math there, 4th or 5th top performer. It's difficult because, you know, Shalane Flanagan ran 30-22, 30-34, 30-39. Which would be the 5th, 6th, and 7th all time. So that kind of jams up the list up front. What an incredible career Flanagan had, now coaching at the University of Oregon and Bowerman. And there we go, back in that 2nd group. Weini Kelati, you're looking at Gebreselama right now, who is your leader, but Weini Kelati just passed Alicia Monson.
So we'll get a shot as we are at 9 to go here for our leader, who's just really running great. So on the all-time list, 15 women have run sub 30, so we want to keep that in mind. Tsigie has run 30:04, and she's the number 11 Ethiopian ever. As Kelati, you see her going down the back stretch, and Kelati moves into 2nd place as she moves into 9 laps to go, just ahead of the wave lights.
Yeah, you say the number 11 Ethiopian ever, but we need to emphasize something. First of all, the world record was set by an Ethiopian woman, Letzenbet Gidey, 29:01. It's not going to be long before we see a woman under 29. And number 3 and number 4 were set by Ethiopian women as well, Almez Ayana and Yudaf Tsigie. So it is very tough to crack that top 10 list of Ethiopia, and Tsigie Gebreselama trying to do it. There's Weini Kelati, who is now in 2nd in this race. She is getting chased by Megan Keith and Lauren Ryan. Alicia Monson back there as well. There's Gebreselama, your sole leader. She has pretty much from the beginning of this race, minus a few early laps with Alicia Monson and some pace setters, been in firm control. 2nd place is Kelati. 3rd is Megan Keith. 4th is Lauren Ryan. That is a lap runner there in front of Alicia Monson, who is in 5th. And here you can see him on the right side of your screen.
So Alicia Monson looks smooth early and then just doesn't look right
now.
Now.
This is the 10,000 though. If you are even slightly off, it can tear you apart. Farther back, we have Ellie Hennis. She's working with Carissa Schweitzer. Kira D'Amato's in that group. We also have Emily Lapari in that group. Got a couple other women farther behind. Man, we are all over the place here.
And that's what this kind of pace does to the field, right?
That's what happens when you try to set national records, right? Sometimes it goes really well. We saw that last year. But Tsigie Gebreselama is all systems go up front, hammering.
I'm wondering if Alicia Monson I think she might be off the track. So I think Alicia Monson has stepped off the track.
Yep, stepped off the track
Probably
on the backstretch.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when Kelati, Megan Keith, and Lauren Ryan came around her, that was probably the moment. But Megan Keith, if she can run under 30-40, that would be bonkers. The young woman from Scotland. People don't really know about her yet, but you should remember that name. She is a very tough runner, very good in cross country as well. She is now up on Weini Kelati's shoulder, and they are running what could be the Olympic standard, 30-40. I like this American group farther back, too, all working together. A lot of American runners working together. Carissa Schweitzer, Ellie Hennis, Kira D'Amato, all trading laps. Rachel Smith in there, Emily Lapari in there.
So I'm just watching I'm watching Alicia Monson walk off the track, and she's moving well, so it doesn't look like she's injured.
That's the good news. I was watching that too. Her form, I mean, she obviously looked like that wasn't her day. We have seen her on her day. We know what she looks like at her best, and it's the best America's ever seen. Today, not that day, but I think we're hoping it's not health and didn't look like health. So we'll see her again soon, I am sure. But Tsigie Gebreselama, silver in Bathurst, currently your leader, almost 200 meters ahead of second place, which is now the young Scotswoman Megan Keith, being followed by Weini Kelati. Lauren Ryan right behind them as well on the white lights, still has a chance. That's Jessica Warner-Judd. She's getting lapped by the 29:36, so don't worry about that. Ignore the wave lights in green at the very least, because that's Jessica Warner-Judd pretty far back. This is your third group on the road right here. Carissa Schweitzer, Keira D'Amato, trying to get everyone in that group. Got some numbers upside down. So a reminder for your second place athlete right now, Megan Keith is 21 years old. And I don't think she's run a 10K before. She's run 14:56. She did that in London in 2023, but I don't think she's raced a 10K. And she's raced a lot of cross country. I know, I've seen her run some cross country, but yeah, listen to this progression. 16:10 in 2021, which she would have been 18 years old-ish. Next year, 19, ran 15:53. Next year, as a 20-year-old, ran 14:56 and is now on Olympic standard pace alongside Weini Kelati.
8K and 24:30 for our two chasers, for Keith and Kelati.
And look at Tsigie Gebreselama. How fast are we going to run today? The lights, which are a good bit ahead of her, would be good for number 7 all time. But if she can run under 30, that puts her, as you said earlier, partner, in the top 15 in history.
So we're coming up on 1,600 meters to go, and she's got a shot at it. So
yeah, and real quick, right behind her, though, we should note, Laura Galvan set the Mexican record at this track last year, and that's what's going to be crazy about this race. Is we're talking about Tsigie Gebreselama up front. We could see several national records on watch. Argentina's is on watch. India's is on watch. Japan's is on watch. Mexico's is, of course, on watch because Galvan is in this race. We just don't know. There's so much happening in this race, it is impossible to talk about everything.
So 25:09 with 1,600 meters to go. So sub-30's in the cards for sure.
And Megan Keith and Weini Kelati doing work there in that chase route. Tsigie Gebreselama, your leader, has run away with it up front. Yeah, so I do think this is Megan Keith's first track 10K, but she did win Eurocross. So even though Americans don't watch that race, that is a super competitive race. And here is our chase group. Keira D'Amato now taking some work up front. Carissa Schweitzer behind her. Ellie Hennis, Danny Polarecki, Emily Lipari. Polarecki, I think, is getting lapped. Rachel Smith in there. Mercy Chalangat of Poconos Elite. So she's been quiet in that group, which I think is a good thing, but a standout at Alabama.
So we needed a 450 last mile. That was a 71. So we're in the cards here for sub-30.
That's Tsigie Gebreselama of Ethiopia representing On Running. Could we see sub-30?
And while it's disappointing, that we lose Monson, we're going to see one of the fastest 10Ks of all time, and the first sub-30 on American soil, if I'm not mistaken.
And you know what? We're seeing a preview of what the U.S. team could look like this summer. So Alicia Monson, we expect her to be on the team. But you never know. I mean, we saw what happened today. But you know who's in front of some of the best U.S. distance runners of all time? And in front of them by about 100 meters? Weini Kelati. She just gets better and better and better. She is alongside Megan Keith running under that Olympic standard. Farther back, we still have Keira D'Amato doing work with Carissa Schweitzer, Ellie Hennis, followed by Rachel Smith, Emily Lipari, Mercy Chalangat. Got to share some miles with her in Flagstaff last summer. Could not be a nicer woman. Would love to see Mercy get up front with those women. You're looking at Tsigie Gebreselama, who is now lapping the best. Right now, so we have pretty much the best America has to offer in this race. Weini Kelati is our top American woman right now. Second is Keira D'Amato. And you're looking at her right now. Now look at the back of that pack. See Tsigie Gebreselama? She is about to catch up to and pass the second best American woman in this field. Lap, I should say. Megan Keith now helping out Weini Kelati. They are still in front of the white lights on Olympic standard pace. Lauren Ryan starting to struggle a little bit of Australia. She's lost maybe 10 meters on the lights. We'll see if she can close that down, but we are coming in to the bell lap. Gebreselama is going around. Schweitzer is going around Keira D'Amato. How far under sub 30 can she go?
So we're at 27 or 28.40, 28.41, 70.4 on the last circuit for our leader. So Tsigie rolling right now. Again, 15 women have run under 30 all time, and this would be the fastest time on American soil.
Tsigie Gebreselama won gold as a junior in World Cross Country. And you know what they say about those juniors? They are going to be the best when they are seniors. She won silver in Bathurst in 2023, and we are about to see history here with 150 meters to go. Tsigie Gebreselama. Here she goes into the final straightaway. How far up the all-time list is she gonna go? Sub 30 would get her in the top 15. She is gonna do that. Watch the clock. Can she get under 29.50? 29.50 is number 9 all-time. 29.47, 29.48. That is the number 9 time in history, Tsigie Gebreselama, and she did it almost entirely solo. And let's look back, because the next thing we're gonna see is whether or not Megan Keith and Weini Kelati break the Olympic standard and qualify themselves for this summer. Right now it's Kelati in second in front of Keith, but Keith is not far behind.
So Kelati rolling right now, 2:16 on the close for Tsigie, but look at Kelati. You're looking at a changing of the guard potentially here, Hayden.
I don't want to say it, but you might be right, partner. Weini Kelati getting under 30.40. This is going to be one of the best marks in American history. What's it going to be? So she's actually followed by Lauren Ryan, who made a huge late charge. Megan Keith qualifies. Someone miscounted their laps over there, unfortunately. What's Kelati? 30.33? That is the number 6 time in American history behind Shalane Flanagan. What elite company to be in. 30.35 for Lauren Ryan. That is a new Australian national record for Lauren Ryan, coming in 3rd place in this race. Megan Keith runs 30.36. She's qualified for the Olympics. Will she go alongside Eilish McColgan, or who else will the British send this year? Rachel Smith, 31.04. Carissa Schweitzer coming back from surgery and running 31.04. The marathoner D'Amato, 31.05. Watch Laura Galvan coming into the finish. This might be a Mexican record. She's going to miss the Mexican record, but still run one of the best times in Mexican history. We should also add that the Mexican record belongs to her, so she'll continue to hold on to it from herself. Mercy Chilenga, 31.15. Emily Lapari opens her 10K season with a 31.19. Everlyn Kemboy, 31.28. Erica Kemp right there as well. The signee from Brooks, 31.28.
So massive lifetime best for D'Amato. Almost like 45-second lifetime best for D'Amato. Huge.
Yeah, she might be dangerous on the especially thinking how quickly she had to turn around from the marathon.